Well, hey, it's Leah here, and we are diving a little bit deeper now into the whole Facebook ads stuff. This is going to be a little in depth, and you're going to want to take notes, maybe follow along on your own screen. But I would really recommend listening all the way through, watching all the way through, maybe taking notes, and then going through it later on and trying to follow along on your own screen. There's a lot of principles we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about content. We're going to talk about headlines. We're going to talk about copywriting and what that means for a musician, how you can find good ideas. We're going to talk about research. There's a lot that goes into writing a good ad that's going to convert into your super fan. This is quite involved. So I just want to prepare you ahead of time that you need to really be focused on this and go through this several times. A lot of experts really suggest that you need to watch something and then maybe download the MP3 and just be listening to it on in the background, almost like while you're cooking or driving or something, so that it really sinks in. There's a lot of principles we're going to be going over here. And the more you listen to it, the better you're going to get at this and the better results you will ultimately get. So the first thing we're going to do is, I'm in my husband's account again because it's a lot less cluttery than mine, so it's easier to see stuff. So the first thing you're going to do is, go onto your home Facebook page, and then you're going to go over into the left-hand side into Ads Manager, and that's where we're going to really launch our ad from. And so that brings us back to this page here, and we are going to be using the Power Editor. Because of how there's certain limitations that you can't do. Now, you could create an ad right here, but again, there's certain limitations to creating an ad here. You're limited in the text characters, like how much you can write, and a bunch of other things. So I want you to just get comfortable with this Power Editor. And again, you need to be in Chrome for it to work. It only works in the Chrome browser. So just to reiterate, this is now going to be, we're now going to be taking an ad and directing cold leads, cold traffic, straight to our free song, straight to our freemium. That's where this one is going. Before you do this kind of ad, you need to be sending highly targeted traffic to your actual Facebook page. And I covered that one in the first lesson. So before you do ads, you need to be building up your page with really targeted people. And the reason for that is when you start running ads to somewhere outside of Facebook and you're taking them to your freemium, your business page, your musician page is going to show in the ad. And if people are interested and they look at your Facebook page, all they have to do is kind of hover over it. And if they look at that, it's going to show, like if you only have 200 likes on there, they're less likely to click on your ad. So you do need a little bit of credibility. And also, there's a whole bunch of other reasons that I did mention in the previous lesson. But what we want to do is really create a very highly targeted and highly engaged audience on your Facebook page so that when you do post an ad or you do boost a post, it's going to work like crazy. It's going to work like gangbusters. So this is a very advanced stuff. So if you've jumped into the course, I do not recommend starting off here. You need to be going through all the other lessons to get to this point because they really build on each other, and there's a lot of just marketing principles that you need to go through to get to this point. This is quite an involved thing all on its own. So this is about driving traffic to our freemium. Now, we're going to start off with entering a campaign name. So I'm going to just do it the exact way that I would do it, and you can watch me and just apply it to your genre, your style. Okay, so for this kind of thing, I'm going to create a new campaign, and I'm going to call it I've also called it before. You can call it your free song, whatever. I've also called it my Leah Superfan funnel. Because it's kind of like a funnel, like if you picture like a cone or something, you're kind of weeding out the people that don't care, and you're just only the people that go through the funnel are the people that actually do care and are your potential brand new fans and super fans. So I recommend you need to click on objective, and you need to go down to website conversions. That's what you need to do. And I usually always pick auction because it's optimized for you to get the cheapest price. Some more experienced people do fixed price, and then you can select how much a conversion is worth to you. But I recommend doing auction at first. And then we're going to make sure you choose an ad set and a new ad. This sounds a bit confusing, but just follow the steps and it will work. So what I usually do is I decide, am I going to run this ad on a desktop platform, or am I going to just run it to mobile devices? And I really recommend at first separating the two, like creating a brand new campaign just for desktop and a brand new campaign for just mobile. Even though you could select all devices, they're very, very different platforms, and it's like a different animal. And sometimes it's hard to know, if you don't separate them, which one is actually doing the best and which one you need to tweak. So, because if they're all lumped in together, if you're running the same ad to a desktop, mobile device, and anything else they have, Instagram, some of them, one's going to perform better than the other, and you need to know which one that is and why. You need to be able to analyze it after the fact. So I do it separate, and I usually just put in parentheses desktop, or if it's mobile, and then all I do is usually I just copy it and paste it, and I copy and paste it. Okay, so the campaign is the overarching, the campaign is like the big umbrella of what you're doing. And the ad set is where we choose your audience. That's where we set the price that you're going to spend per day. And the ad is the creative part where we pick the photo and the text and write the headlines and stuff. So that's just what it means. It sounds confusing, but just do what I'm doing. So I'm going to click create, and then you'll see this pop up. All right, so if I just go over here to, I'm just going to click on active so I'm not going to get confused. So as you'll see, this is what I just created, and it's telling me it's in the draft. Now, if you need to pull this up for any reason, you come over here to the right and click on this little pencil, and it'll show you what I just created. So it's showing me it's an auction. If you make a mistake and clicked on a different objective or something, you need to delete this whole thing and start over. You can't edit this. So just make sure you've got it right there. Then I'm going to go to add sets, and you'll see this little red button. It just means because I haven't filled out this part. So anytime I need to go to this next section, I'm going to click on here and then click on the pen, and it'll just pull it right out. So I'm going to choose a conversion event. Now, this can get a little bit overwhelming because conversions are measured. First of all, if you're not sure what a conversion is when somebody clicks on your ad and then they go to your freemium, your megaphone page, and they enter in their email, and they go to the other side of that page. They get to a thank you page. So if they clicked on the ad and land on the thank you page, that means they were a conversion. They converted through your funnel. They went from a cold audience, a stranger, to now a potential fan. Okay, so we want Facebook to tell us how many of those people actually landed on the thank you page so that we know our ad is working. And so what we have to do is create a little pixel. A pixel is just like a piece of code that is on that thank you page so that it can send a message to Facebook saying, yep, somebody landed here and your ad is working. So if you haven't, if you're not familiar with pixels, it can be a bit confusing, but hopefully this will show you. So for a conversion pixel, Facebook has come out with a brand new Facebook pixel that's supposed to do everything all in one. However, A lot of people are having problems with it. Even I've had problems with it, not actually reporting information yet. I'm sure there's just a few bugs that they are still working out, just a few kinks. So for now, we're going to set up an older, like one of their older ones. So what I would do is I'm going to go set up a conversion. I'm going to do an old type of a conversion pixel. So what I need to do is come back over here to Ads Manager. So I'm not in Power Editor. I'm going to go back to Ads Manager, and I'm going to see up here that's where that Power Editor button is. I'm coming to Tools, and I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to go to Pixels, and you'll see here there's two tabs here, and this is the Facebook pixel. This is what they're trying to get everybody to use right now. For right now, I don't want you to use that because it's tending to be quite problematic and sometimes not reporting things properly. What I want you to do is click over here on Conversion Tracking Pixel Old. And they've got a notice here saying that they're going to be removing this in 2016, but hopefully by then they'll have worked out any bugs that are going on. So for now, we're going to use an old school tracking conversion pixel. Okay, so you're going to create a pixel here, and you might have to click on that and confirm. Okay, so we want to measure leads, and then we will just give it a name. So superfan pixel. That's just what I'm going to call it. Something you'll remember. Okay, so now it's telling me that we've created this pixel. We're going to view our pixel code. And this is the code. All you do have to do is highlight it. And then I did show you in the last one, but I'll go over it again where you put it. Basically, if you do create a Megaphone account or a Lead Pages account or something like that, you just go into the thank you page and go under custom code. And all you have to do is paste this into the top header section, and it's actually really simply laid out, so that's easy, but I won't do that right now. We want to go back to the Power Editor. So right now you'll see there's no activity yet, and that's because I haven't installed that pixel on Megaphone yet, and so it won't be green until I install that on my thank you page and I refresh it in a different browser and all of that. But I need to be able to select that in here, choose a conversion event, okay, and I'm going to pick the one that I just created, and you'll see down here, here's the superfan pixel. This is the one I want. Now, I had to just quickly refresh this browser. Usually up here, there is a button that says download to Power Editor. So if you made a change over here in Ads Manager and you created this pixel, what you would need to do is go back to Power Editor and click download to Power Editor, and it will update any information you did over there and basically upload it into this Power Editor. This is like a huge program in and of itself. It's almost like completely separate from Facebook. So you need to get any updates in here so that you could select this. Or you could just do this first before you even open the Power Editor. That's probably better. So now I found my pixel, and we will install that later. Then I'm going to choose my budget. Now maybe you're just starting out. I would recommend $5 to $10 a day. And this is something you'll see results immediately. So it's not like you're going to have to put in $100 before you get anything out of it. You'll see results the same day. I do recommend that you leave it on for at least 24 to 48 hours to really get an accurate conversion rate to see how much it is costing for one conversion. And I'll show you where you look at that. It just takes some time sometimes for the cost to come down a bit. So you might see it starts at like $6 or $5, and then within 24 hours it'll be down to $2 something. Now basically they say anything under $5 per conversion, you're doing great. But I can help you get this a lot lower than that by showing you a few tricks. And so mine I've actually gotten down to 30 cents, which is record breaking, really. That is an insanely low cost for a conversion, but I'm very good at this, so I'll teach you what I'm doing. Now, just leave this schedule the way it is. Keep it going. If for some reason you get freaked out, just pause your ad and pause it and then tweak it and then turn it back on. You can turn it off and on at will, so no need to freak out. Now, they made some serious changes to this audience stuff, and I'm going to warn you about this. And this right here, This audience section right here, this is how you're going to make a lot of new super fans. This is how you're going to make a lot of money, is by understanding this spot. And I talked about that in the first Facebook one, but I want to dig into this a little more because this is absolutely make or break. In fact, the fortune in music is really in 90 to 95% of it is in your research. And that sounds kind of insane, but you're going to have to become very, very good at knowing your key target audience. I mean, you need to be in their head. You need to know where do they shop? What kind of clothes do they wear? Is there a certain brand that they like in your target audience? What kind of food do they, I mean, is there a certain restaurant that they gravitate to? Are they a Taco Bell type of person? What other bands are they listening to in your genre? Maybe big umbrella bands, and also the smaller little micro niche bands. You want to know what magazines are they reading? What websites are they visiting? What blogs do they read? I mean, you need to pretty much know them better than they know themselves. And that is how I get my cost so low, down to like 30 and 40 cents per conversion. That's how I do it, is because I know them better than they know themselves. And I've done that through extensive research. And I'll show you the couple tools that I'm using to get that research. So what you want to do is click on Edit Audience. And this process can take me sometimes a couple hours just to do all my research while I'm filling this out. This is a big deal, and this is where you will either kill it or you'll be off target, and I really don't want you to waste your money. So just really pay attention to this. So there's a couple things to consider when you're picking location. One thing you need to figure out is, where is your target audience? You need to first research your micro niche. Well, you're going to start it to actually your umbrella genre, and you're going to do some research and figure out where in the world, what continent, what countries, which cities are the most popular for your umbrella genre of music. And then you're going to work your way down, and now you're going to research where are the most popular countries and cities for more of your secondary genre and your niche genre. And you need to write all those countries down. And how do you find that out? Well, you can go to Ads Manager. You're going to click on Tools, and you're going to go to Audience Insights. This is one of several ways that you can really do the research. You're going to click on everyone on Facebook. And for now, I'm actually going to disable the location. So I'm took United States out. And what I'm going to do is ignore the age, ignore the gender, ignore all this other stuff. The only thing I want you to pay attention to is the interests right now. And then you're going to type in a umbrella genre band that is really quite large. So I'm going to type in Nightwish, since in my genre they are one of the most popular. Nightwish has between 4 and 4.5 million monthly active people. They have more than that on their page, I believe. Now, this is going to tell you so much information. You're going to see here, it's pretty evenly split between women and men. You're going to see the age groups. You're going to see what kind of people it is that listen to that particular band. You can even look at the job titles. A lot of this stuff doesn't matter as much as as this little tab right here. This tab here is the most important thing for you. Page likes and location. So these two right here. So I'm going to look first at top countries, and I'm going to see it's Finland, Czech Republic, Slovakia, a lot of European countries that they are really huge in. Oh, and if you click on this right here, it's going to bring up for you the top countries. So USA, Mexico, Brazil, Germany, Poland, France. So I'm really going to pay attention to the top countries. Now, if it's the same umbrella genre as you, write these down. And in fact, I really recommend getting Evernote. I've just pulled up a brand new Evernote. And then I would just make a list. I'm just going to type audience research. And then I am going to take note of the top countries. And I'll just write them down. USA, Mexico, I'll do like maybe the top 10. All right, so something like that. And then what I would do next is also I'm going to, in here, I'm going to make another tab here for page likes. I'm going to take a look at what other pages do people like that. So what it's telling me right now is people who have already liked this big, huge page, what other pages have those people also liked that are very relevant to this same thing? So that's in the same, they're similar pages, but some of them are going to be smaller. And so I'm going to click on audience. It's going to tell me the biggest pages to the smallest pages. And you're going to write down other pages that are under 1 million, that have under 1 million. Okay, so you do not want to target pages that have more than 1 million. In fact, I'm going to say less than 500,000 is going to get you the best results. So what I want to do is come all the way down here and start looking. What other pages do people like? Okay, they like Tara. She was a former singer of Nightwish. So I'm going to write that down, because when I go back to Power Editor, it's going to be annoying to flip back and forth here. So what I'm going to do is write down they like this artist. I'm going to, let's see, take a look at other pages here. Okay, so Dream Theater, Stradivarius, Arch Enemy, they like, and then I'm going to be paying attention to, so Lacuna Coil, they're a big influence of mine from Italy. This is golden information to you, because being able to target people in a smaller niche, they're very likely they're going to see your ad, and chances are if they like one of these smaller pages, they're also going to like you. So I'm definitely going to be targeting some of these. Blind Guardian, okay, they're really popular, and the bass player played on my last album, so that's a good cross-reference. Whoa. It's a good cross-reference for me to have, like any kind of connection to my page. So I would write down a whole bunch of these and go all the way down here, all the way down to, like, even if there's only 50,000 people on a page, that is definitely worth, whoops, went too far, definitely worth writing down, because they are a micro page. You know, by Facebook standards, 50,000 is a lot of likes actually, but so After Forever, that was a very well-connected band. These other singers, a lot of these pages will be perfect for my target audience. So I'm going to just write some of these down here, or maybe I can even just, not sure if I can see if I do that. It'll give me everything, but I might just save myself a little bit of time, and I might just do this and just put it in my Evernote and then just edit it after the fact, okay? But this is just easy for me to look at quickly when I go back to Power Editor. So we've gotten some demographics, we got countries. Now if I want to get more specific, you can actually look at the top cities. So that could be useful. I tend to just stay in the country because sometimes people are spread out, but you can experiment with this. If there's like 10% is huge. 10% is a huge amount for just being in this one city. So that might be worth really just targeting. But otherwise, I usually just keep it to the actual top countries. So going back over here to Power Editor, now I have a lot better idea. Now, having said that, generally speaking, the people who tend to spend money on Facebook sometimes are not located in those countries, because some of them might be a little bit poorer countries as well. And there's a lot of people that love music. They're fans of the music, but they don't tend to spend a lot of money through the Facebook platform. So this is another thing to consider. So one thing you might want to try first is these 4 countries that have proven to spend money through Facebook, because that's really the type of fan that we want. We don't want irrelevant fans that they think all music should be free. We want fans that want to support the artists that they love. So we want to add Canada, United States, United Kingdom, and Australia. That is your base. Okay, that is your base. You should always have these 4 countries. Now, for a genre like mine, a lot of my kind of music is very, very popular in Europe. So I would include a few of the top European countries. But as a rule, Canada, United States, United Kingdom, Australia, these are the people that tend to spend money on Facebook. These are the people that convert well. So that should be your base. And then on top of that, you should include a few of the countries that are exactly in your demographic that like your umbrella genre. And then you can also go smaller than that too in the audience insights. You can look at which people, where they are located in your microgenre as well. But this is a good place to start. So I would probably include Mexico, Brazil, Germany, Poland. So I'll just add that. And I think it was France and Czech. Now I might even go further than this at another time, but you don't want to get so huge, because look at this right now. I'm at 468 million people without having narrowed this down yet. Like it's just getting too big. So I'm going to stop there for right now, and I might run a separate ad just to a few smaller European countries and not include Canada, United States, and Australia and UK. I might try that as well, but you need to have one ad that goes to these 4. And then you can even compare them. How do those 4 countries compare to doing an ad just with those other smaller, more foreign countries? So all things to experiment with. For this example, I'm just going to include them all here. And the other thing you need to look at is if you already have a Facebook page with, a few thousand people on it, you need to take a look at your own page and look at what ages are liking your page. I'm going to just open that up for just a second. All right. So I'm going into Insights. I'm going to go look at likes. I'm clicking on people, and here I'm going to see exactly where people are. But, I have over 70,000 likes on my page, so it's going to give me pretty accurate statistics here. So I've got US, Egypt, of all places, Brazil, Algeria, India, Mexico. So I've got stuff all over the place, UK, Canada. And then it's telling me my demographics here, anywhere between 18 to 35 and even 45. So I would really focus on this. I have also ran ads where I just didn't put any restrictions on the ages, and it did fine. But when you're first starting out, I really want you to look at the results in audience insights. So if I go back to Nightwish, the big umbrella band that I was looking at, and I'm going to demographics, you can see it's 18 to 45 is really the biggest. And so since I'm kind of going to be targeting pages similar to this, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to target from 18 to about 45. So I'll go back to Power Editor, And I'm going to just narrow this down 18 to 45. And I feel, sometimes you might feel bad. Oh, I don't want to like cut out certain people that might end up liking my music. And unless you know that you're targeting maybe a specifically older audience, that'd be fine. But I'm just paying attention to the demographics and the statistics it's giving me on Facebook. And you can always change this too. So try it out for a little while. Usually I don't enter in a language, but you can enter in English all, or whatever language it is that you are marketing in your music. Now, this is a big, huge change that they made. Normally, and by the way, this might look a little bit different for you than it does for me, because I've been whitelisted with Facebook because my ads do so well. So they have been rolling out new features, and so this may not apply to you yet, but you might see this in the future where it's called detailed targeting. Before, I think it just said interests. And so now what you can do is add interests plus another interest. So they have to like one thing plus something else, which really narrowed it down quite a bit. But it looks like on my husband's account, I don't know if they have actually added that feature over here yet. So let's just check it out. But now I'm going to look at the interest. I'm going to pull up that, I'm going to pull up this again. First thing I'm going to start doing, before I start really thinking outside the box, I'm going to start typing in some of these similar pages that those other people like. So before I go crazy, I'm gonna get into magazines. I'm gonna get into some of those other more like lifestyle and culture, subculture type of pages. But for now, I'm gonna start looking up these smaller. So Charlotte Wessels, she is in another band called Delane, and the guitar player for that band played on my last album as well. So that's going to be a fantastic page to target, because people sometimes will associate us as almost like similar, right? So I'm going to type in Charlotte Wessels, and I can see there are 160 people, 160,000 people. So when I scroll up here, remember it had like 400 and I don't know, something million. It all of a sudden went down to 31,000 people. This is good. And it will go down even more after the fact when we select which platform we are showing this to, which we had already decided is going to be desktop. So I'm going to go Charlotte Wessels. And already they're starting to show me some similar pages. So Elise Reed, she is another singer in the same genre as me, and she only has 126,000 likes. That's under 500,000. So I'm going to select that. Perfect. People who like that singer probably would like my stuff. And here's another similar band. So they're already helping me out. Facebook is very smart, and they want you to succeed. So here's another band. If people like this band, I think they're from Norway or Finland, one of the two. They would like my stuff. I'm very familiar with these bands. I'm very familiar with my audience. So I can just click on these without even doing too much research anymore, because I've done so many. Once you start doing 20, 30, 40, 50 ads, you get really fast and you get really good, and you start, seeing results better and better all the time. And I'm definitely going to be picking Delane because I have a connection with that band. Simone Simmons, she is another singer, but see, she's so popular. She has almost 1 million, like she's getting up there. So I'm not going to select her just because it's too big. She sings for this band, Epica. So it's too big. Within Temptation, another huge band. Liv Christine, she's the singer for Leaves Eyes, so I'm going to pick that. I've entered in a bunch of singers and some bands, and normally I would take more time, and I'd really be thorough and don't just click on anything. Make sure you're opening it up in Facebook and looking at their pages. How many likes do they actually have? Is it an active page? Because sometimes you'll type in something and Facebook won't pull that page up, and the reason is because there is not enough engagement going on that page for them to even bother putting ads in front of those people. They don't have enough activity going on. So that's why it's really important that you have activity going on your page, and we'll talk about that more later. So after you've selected some rather small but notable bands and singers pages, you need to think outside of the box after that, okay? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to Audience Insights, and I just typed in Epica. I'm going to type in a few of the big bands. Within Temptation is another big page that normally I would not target because they are so large. That's too big. So, but in this setting, it's very useful for me to look at. So I'm looking over here at the demographics. So now it's about thinking outside the box. And I'm going over here to page likes for a second. And I want you to look here at some of these other things. And this is going to really get your wheels turning, okay? So I'm looking at the food and beverages that they like. It's funny, Epica Wines. I don't know if they actually have a wine line or if that's just the name of a wine and people liked it because it's the same. But I'm going to check it out. I'm definitely going to look at it. I'm going to open a new tab. I'm going to look at this community here. This is the main songwriter for Nightwish. So there's a community page. Usually you cannot pull up groups or community pages in the Power Editor. They don't let you do that. You can only target actual pages and business pages and stuff. I'm going to look at women in metal. And now this is going to really get my wheels turning because this is like a webzine that, you know, they've even featured stuff on me before. So women in metal, this is perfect. As you can see, I'm in a niche here. Female fronted symphonic metal is my genre. That's my umbrella genre. And so this has, you know, this is great. They're like, I see they haven't posted for a while here, but they have tons and tons of photos. They've got lots of people interacting, lots of comments. They've got good engagement overall. Probably not posting enough though. So anyways, this is going to be a good page. Now I want to find more pages like this page because I just can't remember them off the top of my head. And there's probably some I've never heard of before that are popular. So one thing I will do is come down here and I'm going to look at other pages that this page has liked. Sometimes they'll like similar stuff to their own, and that will give me a really good tip on other pages. So you see there's that one singer already selected and they've already liked that person, so that's fantastic. So I'm going to look here. They've liked, some festivals. They've liked a couple of record labels. They're probably going to be too big for me to target, but I'm taking note of those. I can pull those up in Audience Insights, and I can look at their demographics and other page likes. So a lot of these singers are on these particular labels, these singers that are similar to me, and I'm going to pull up those record labels and see the other pages, the other demographics that are similar. Okay, so this is thinking outside the box now. And so there's other bands here. A photographer who probably photographs a lot of these artists. We are looking at, these are niche pages here. Headbangers Latin America. They've done an article on me, so I might look them up over here in not in Audience Insights. I'm going to go back to Power Editor. So if I look up, just being a little bit slow here for a sec. Okay, so I'm looking up Headbangers Latino America, and it's not coming up, which means they don't have enough engagement on their page, or not enough activity, or not enough likes or something. But they have likes, so I'm going to go back to this page and look for more ideas over here. I'm going to see what else this page is liked. And if you land on a page where they haven't liked a whole lot of other pages, just go find another one, because this is a really great way to think outside the box and brainstorm, and you're going to find things you would have never thought of on your own. So I'm looking down at a lot of musicians, a lot of bands. So a lot of these, like, I've never heard of this before, but they're clearly, if I hover over here, it should pull up the page, and I could probably look at how many likes that band has. I might go check them out and see, are they similar to me? If yes, then I'm going to target that page. So sometimes it takes a bit to load. But Metal Divas, let me open that page, because they are a little webzine or a blog that would deliver, same type of thing, featuring the top women in metal. And now they only have, this is like a micro page. And so I don't know. You can see they haven't posted in a long time. So I bet you they will not even pull this page up. Nope. See, that's a perfect example. And it's a good example of why you need to have a lot of page activity on your page. And one of the reasons is if you don't have people actually commenting and talking back to you when you are posting stuff, commenting, liking, and sharing, engaging and interacting with every post that you do, Facebook will not post what you're doing in people's news feeds. So I'm going to go on a little bit of a rabbit trail right now because we're on the topic. Most people are not looking up your page on Facebook and coming over to your Facebook page. Most people are not typing up here, Leah, and coming over to my page. This is usually not how they're interacting with my posts. Usually what people are doing is they're on their own news feed. They're on their own home page. And then if I have engaging posts, if people are commenting, if it's reaching people, if people are interacting and they're liking and they're sharing, then they will take a post and put it in people's news feed. That's what you see on your homepage when you're scrolling. That's the news feed. It's different from your page. Most people are not coming here. So the way to get people to engage with the post is put really good content on your page, stuff that sometimes has nothing to do with your music. Look at this video I posted last night. I was just scrolling through my feed. I saw this video. I was like, you know what? It entertained me. It's a freaking water slide that's like psychedelic and it caught my attention. It was amusing and has nothing to do with my music. And watch this. I'm like, whoa. I mean, it just got my attention. And here's the thing, is when I'm posting stuff like this, and I'm asking people, this is random, I know it's random, would you try this? And that's how you're getting people to interact. So asking questions, asking for why or why not questions, that stuff, that kind of thing. This has nothing to do with my music, has nothing to do with my genre. It entertained me, and therefore if it captured my attention, I figured it would capture the attention of my audience. Now, everybody here who liked and commented and shared, because they interacted with this post, Facebook is now going to put it in their news feed. That's how it works. If people interact with any post that you posted, now they're going to be seeing everything else from me. So that's why you want a lot of engagement. So I went on that rabbit trail, but I needed to tell you that while we're on this topic. So back to the Power Editor. So Metal Divas did not have enough interaction, and like, I don't know, it looks like they, it's a ghost town now. They've abandoned their page. So moving on, we are looking for more other ideas of things that I wouldn't have thought of. So here we go, just scrolling, and I'm looking for thinking outside the box. So I might think about now, what kind of clothes are people wearing? I might do a little bit of a search for like Gothic clothing or something like that. So I'm going to find like, okay, Victorian Gothic clothing UK. Let's check this out. And now, so you see, like, you're like, whoa, what kind of people wear this stuff? But it's a genre. It's a lot of people who like take the time to, how much money do you think people spend on clothes like this? They spend a lot of money. People who like these kind of magazines, maybe they sew things themselves, or they buy stuff. These are buyers on this page. Some of them might just be collectors. A lot of them might be on Pinterest and stuff, but I might look for more things like this type of page, because I'm going to be thinking, what kind of people like my music? It tends to be a little bit more on the darker side. And so what kind of clothes are they wearing? What kind of brands are they into? Really, you need to brainstorm. And I think I'm going to include a list for you guys of questions to ask yourselves and things to research. The better research that you can do on your target audience, the more money you're going to make, the more super fans you're going to get, because basically you're getting in their head. The top ones are obviously going to be the other bands that are like you or connected to you somehow. But then I want you to include some of those not community pages, but related interests. So they're related somehow, like the clothing brand is related to the music because people are often, it's a subculture. And so you need to get into the subculture of what your fans are into. So, and for example, I might have shown you on the last one, I might choose something to do with Lord of the Rings or Vikings or something, the Vikings, the TV show. Now the show itself, I'm going to have to type in History Channel. So if I do this, I can totally target this one because it's not millions and millions of people. This is probably a sub page that somebody else started. It's not the official page, but it's still the people that like that type of show. And I just know my fans well enough to know if they like that show, they're going to like my music. So that's what I'm saying. Think outside the box. What kind of movies might be related to your music? Is there anything that you think, oh, my song would be a perfect soundtrack for this movie or this type of movie? Target that page. See if you can find a smaller unofficial page that has less people that would probably like it. So this is about thinking outside the box. So once you have your audience sorted out, this is great. You could go up to 500,000 people. Some people might get away with going up to 1 million people total reach, but I think you end up spending more money. And so in my experience and in the experience of some experts, you want to stay in the lower end, to be honest. That's just more specific. This is about pinpointing the exact people that are going to be addicted to our music right away. So I'm going to click save this audience. Now, when you come back here, if you decide I need to tweak this, something isn't working, or I want to try something else, what you need to do is click on edit audience. And let's say I wanted to change the countries or something like that. I'm just going to do that, delete it. Then what I would need to do is you can either save as is, or you can save as a new audience. Say you don't want you liked the targeting you did before and you'd like to use it again in the future, maybe for a different ad, but you want to save the changes you made right now, then I would just click here and rename it. And then it will save it as a whole new separate audience, and it'll save it for this ad. But the other one is still there. So I'll show you. This will be, so I might do this, and then I would save this audience. And then what if I come back and go, oh, that didn't work at all, I need to go back? All I would do is come in here, make sure I'm on the ad set section, and I'm going to pull this up, and I would click on this. Now to change it back, I would go back to what my original audience was. This is a different one that I had tried. So when you save your audience and you save it as a name, you can switch between back and forth, and it's got all the things that you would save. See, look at here. I targeted a magazine that I was in, these different films, singers, and stuff. So that is how you do that. Now the next part is we've just scrolled down here, and this is the placement. This is where we need to unselect these different platforms. Right now, we're just going to take this one and put it on the desktop news feed. Okay, so I'm going to unclick the mobile news feed, and that one usually is attached to it. So, and I'm also going to unclick the right column. And the reason is because it's usually so small on the side of your page. Like, these are so small, most of the time this is not going to catch people's attention. By just selecting the desktop newsfeed, this is what is called a dark post. A dark post is basically, it's going to show an ad. It's going to look like a regular post that you would post on your page like this. So it might look like this. So it's going to show your artist name, your band page, your text, your photo, and then it'll show likes, comments, and shares below that. So here's the thing though. A dark post will not show up on your band page, which is a good thing because you don't want to be promoting all day long to your fans all day long, because that's not the purpose of your Facebook page. And I hope you watched the first lesson about Facebook marketing, because your page is not about promoting all day long. And I know there's a lot of artists that think that that's how you make sales, but that's not how you make sales, and that's not how we should be using your Facebook page. I used to do that, and I've really changed how I approach doing this, and it has made a huge difference. I make way more sales now that I create a community and a culture, and I'm inspiring and entertaining people, and I am engaging with them and talking to them. Like, look what I posted just yesterday. How to forge an axe. Step by step. Has nothing to do with my music, but it's kind of related, right? Like, my stuff is Celtic metal, that kind of thing. And so I'm posting stuff that I think would be of interest because it creates the kind of community I'm attracting the kind of people that I'd actually like to hang out with. And that's what you need to be doing on your page. You want to attract people that you want to hang out with. So we are not promoting on our page all day long. And so we're not boosting a post on our page. We're creating a dark post that looks like a regular post that would appear here. It's only going to appear in their news feed and not on your regular page. That's why it's called dark. So it's kind of like invisible, but it's posted as you. This is a really good way, and it's nice and big, and they're not going to miss it. The studies show that people actually read everything that they're scrolling through the news feed, and they are deciding within a few seconds if they're going to stop and actually read more or click or what they're going to do, but they are actually looking at every single thing in their news feed. So you want to do a dark post when you're doing desktop. Ignore the right column. You're going to probably waste money by doing that. So now that we have that selected, now I can see my potential reach is 430,000 people right now. This might be a little bigger if I had done more in my targeting. Like, I might add a bit more than I did. But I do not want more than 1 million people. That's just too broad, and we really want to stay focused into our micro niche. So now I'm going to scroll down here, and I'm just making sure that this is on conversions and that it's on automatic. I'm not manually bidding on this right now. That's more of an advanced strategy. So when I'm done, I can actually so there was the campaign, there's the ad set. When I'm done, I'm just going to click on ads. And it's going to bring this up, and this is where we do the creative part of it. So it's just telling you that we haven't completed this. So once this is selected, just click on that pencil and it pulls this up. And we are going to select our band page. That's the first thing we're going to do. Now, they have this thing, Facebook is pushing this carousel ad thing where you can have multiple pictures and stuff. We're not going to do that for this purpose. For now, just stick with one image or video. We'll talk about video in another post. We can have a lot of fun with video, and some of you guys are shy to be on camera, and I am too, believe it or not. I'm really quite introverted at times. I kind of go back and forth between extrovert and introvert, but a lot of times I'm introverted, and I really don't like being the center of attention. So this is where you are going to, so just select an image or video, and this is where you put your link to your freemium, okay, to where you're going to be sending people to download that free song. So I'm going to pull up my Megaphone page. And here is my opt-in page where people can come and enter in their email, and then it triggers MailChimp, and they get sent an email with their free songs. So I'm coming back to Power Editor, and I'm going to paste that here. And for the display URL, I like to just not do a www. I just put, I purchased a domain name just to make it look a little more professional. CelticMetalMusic.com. And so that's just what's going to show, so you don't have all this jumbo stuff. And then this is kind of another big part here, is talking about the text, which in marketing terms, they call it copy. The copy is the text that interests people, captivates them, and leads to hopefully a purchase of some kind. So it's called the copy. This is where you also need to do some homework, but we're gonna talk about certain language to use and what not to use. And we're going to talk about headlines, and then we're going to talk about the description and where you can find some good headlines. That's coming in the next section. So we'll see you in the next video, and be ready to take some notes.